Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, I'm going to take you through what is Terraform data source. So data source, we use data source in order to fetch or read data from your existing cloud infrastructure. Okay, why is it important? This will help you to dynamically fetch data and make your configuration more flexible. Okay, so it does not create or modify the existing infrastructure. This is just read only of your existing infrastructure resource. Okay, so it's not like resource, okay, block. This is what we call data block, just a read only. Okay, so I think it's better we dive into the practical side of things, and then I will take you through what this thing is about. Okay, so let me quickly find my IDE, and then right. So I've created a file called data.tf. So this is where we're gonna write our code and read. Remember, data source is just a read only. We're gonna read some configurations of our existing infrastructure. So let's start by data sourcing, let's say our VPC. I have created a VPC in my account. Let's quickly have a look. So in my AWS account here, where's VPC? So your VPC, I've got this VPC. Okay. So imagine you want to data source read this information, okay, into your code. How do you do it without physically coming here and copying the value and put it into your resource or something like that? So what you can do is leverage on data source. So in your Terraform registry, okay, we will find our VPC. Okay, let's search for VPC. Okay, VPC. So VPC will be somewhere at the bottom here. Okay. So here, remember, if you have followed my video, so we've done what we call resource block. This is what we call data source block. So from the top here, let me go straight west. Yeah. So VPC, can you see we have resource? So if you want to provision VPC, okay, and its part, you need resource. Okay, if you scroll down, so that is resource, you will see another section called data source. Okay, remember the block name, the block type is almost the same as the resource. So this is data source. If you want to data source the existing VPC, so let's look for the VPC. This is the VPC. Okay, all you need is this block of code called data source. So let's grab that. Go to our IDE. So here, let's quickly paste it here, right, and go through. So you will first, this is a block. So you first need to call the block as data source. Okay, that's the block name, and then the resource you want to read or you want to fetch. Okay, so here is AWS VPC. Happy days. What we need to do next, this is what we call kind of the local name. Okay, so we can put whatever you want here. Okay, it could be, let's say, web or something like that. Anything you want to put here, it's just the local name. This is what Terraform will store in the state. Okay, again, what we need is the ID. So if you go to the documentation, so data source, if you scroll all the way, it tells you what you need. So the argument, you can have region, your CIDR, your default, the ID. So remember the ID, you can retrieve the ID. Okay, so let's grab the ID. So basically, you can retrieve all this information from your VPC as a data source. So if you want to grab the ID, so let's go back to our code. As we can see here, the ID. So what we need to do, we can remove this. So this tells you if you want to put the ID in a variable, you can, and just call it from here. But let's actually put the ID there. Where do I get the ID? Okay, I had to go to the console. Remember, we are going to read this information, so you need to provide this value actually in your code so you'll be able to read it. Okay, so we go back to our AWS account here. This VPC, this is the ID, the VPC ID. If I click onto that, okay, this ID we can literally copy it. Okay, this one, VPC ID, and come to our code. Okay, and then we can put the ID here. Okay, just paste it here. This is our ID. So when we run Terraform plan, remember this is read only. Plan, let's plan against this. Okay, this is what we mean by read only. Terraform is literally going to um, go through the API and read. Okay, I think I've got other resources, that's why it's trying to read. So let me comment them out. Where are they? It's in the main. Okay, let me comment all this stuff out here. Okay, so we can just see the data source that we've done. Okay, we clear this, Control L. So we say Terraform, and then we are planning against the data source. Okay, okay. Can you see it literally says read? So this data source, okay, block is reading the VPC ID. Okay, so that is one. Let's do few of them. For the next one, let's read AMI. Okay, so let's read AMI. Let's go to the documentation, and what we need is instance AMI. So let's go back to Terraform and let's go to instance. Let's search for EC2. Okay, instance. Let's see if it will come up. Okay, so EC2. Okay, compute. Okay, and what we are looking for, if we click onto data source, where is that? Okay, not the instance. Okay, AMI. Okay, so let me quickly show you here. So under, where's instance? Okay, here we go. Under EC2 instance, we have a code that data source. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to data source the AMI, and then I'm going to use it in a resource to provision EC2. Okay, and this is what this code will give you. So let's copy all that. Okay, and then let me come to our ID. So under this data source, the TF. Okay, go enter here, and let me paste it here. Right, what I'm going to show you is what the code is about. Right, so we're using data source block and we are sourcing AMI. So this can be any name, you can change it to whatever name you want. Okay, and then we are sourcing the current AMI, and then we are filtering. Basically, we picking and choosing what we want specific. Okay, we're saying that right, the name, it has to be the Ubuntu image. Okay, this type of Ubuntu image. Okay, this is what we want. Okay, and then the virtualization type, we want HVM. Okay, and the owner. Okay, the owner of this AMI is that one. I'll show you what the owner could be. So if, let's say, I want to data source, for example, if I want to data source everything, I can with the filters. If I want to reduce the filters, yes, I can. Okay, so let's keep the way it is now. And then what we are going to do here is we are going to reference the AMI. We're going to reference it in the instance block. Okay, so we will say data dot, so data dot AWS AMI, that's what we have here, dot the local name, which is Ubuntu, and then dot the ID. Okay, so you need the ID of the of the AMI. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. So let's plan on this again. So Terraform plan. Okay, so you see how this is flexible. Instead of you hard coding the AMI here, you literally reading the ID from AWS. Okay, so even if I don't want to filter, so we can see the plan has just completed. Okay, can you see the AMI that we are running, okay, is this new AMI, and this is coming from this data source. Okay, so let me show you. If you think there's too much noise here, the stuff that you are filtering is too much and you want to reduce it, let me show you this quickly. So if, let's say, I just want to data source the ID from a specific owner, this particular owner, okay, so we can uncomment, or we can comment this one out, okay, and then let's see. Okay, you will see we'll get different AMI. Okay, let's see. Okay, Terraform, and then let's go plan against that, and then let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you is all this what you're seeing here are just the argument that you can pick and choose. Some of them are optional. Okay, so we run a plan against that, and again we gain our AMI, which is gain data source. Okay, what does it mean? So literally, Terraform is gonna go to our AWS, go to AMI, okay, and go and fetch AMI, the current one, the most recent one of this owner. Which owner? Let's look at it. How do we know which owner is that? So when you go to your AWS account here, and let's go to EC2 because this is where AMI are. Okay, so we go to AMI, okay, under the AMI, right, under the AMI. So for me, I don't own any AMI. Okay, that's why you see nothing in here. But if I want to see any other private AMI or public AMI, so see the one we are trying to source is public. If you put the public here or select public, okay, if you scroll to the left hand side, can you see the owner? Our owner, the one we are actually data sourcing, what is it? Let's copy that. Okay, this is the owner that we are trying to filter. So 77477. Okay, 477. Okay, so this is the owners. Can you see the name of the owner, the name of the owners? Okay, that is the 477. Let's see if you can find that one. Okay, actually let's put it here, and then let's see. Let's find this owner. Okay, so 477, this is Amazon. That's the alias name. So when you see this, you know that this AMI is coming from AWS and it's public. So the filter, if you're trying to filter, you are filtering by the AMI name. Okay, you are filtering by the source, you're filtering by the owner. Okay, and then again, you can keep filtering by the platform. You can filter by the virtualization, okay, and so on. That is why you will see here the filter we have by name, and then you put what name you want to filter. Okay, virtualization, which one do you want to virtualize, as I showed you here. Okay, so all these things you are seeing here are the filters. Okay, stuff here, these are the filters. Okay, source and my name. Okay, and you could see how we actually referencing the data source into a resource. Okay, I hope this help. Anytime you want to create any data source, remember you go to your Terraform documentation and whatever resource you want to data source. Okay, again, if you want to do security group, so that comes under VPC, you find VPC. Let's do one more quickly. So VPC, which is somewhere, VPC, where is it? VPC, virtual private cloud here. Okay, security group comes under here. So let's pick one quickly. So VPC security group. Where am I? So virtual private cloud. Okay, AWS. Okay, alphabetical order. Security group. Yeah, that one. Okay, if you want to data source any of them, are we under data source anyway? Yeah, that's fine. This resource, this what we want, data source. Where is it? Security group, VPC. Okay, endpoint, subnet, security group. Okay, that's data source. You can grab any of them here. Let's grab this. Okay, copy that, paste it here. Okay, and then all you need is the security group ID. So let's grab any of the VPC security group from my console here. So security group, where are you? Security groups. Okay, and then let's grab any of that. Let's say let's grab that one. So all you need is the security group ID, that one, security group ID, and then put that in here. Okay, so when you run plan, so we are planning against that, and you could see, come on, right, right, let's see. So you could see it's reading, and then it just found the security group ID, and here is it. So this is what we call the data source, and it's read only. But this output, the stuff you see here, you can use it, you can reference it in any of your resource. I hope this helped. I will see you in the next video. Happy learning. Bye bye.